I'm Julie Dunphy with the 2822 Now app. We're streaming live from our studio to your TV. And we're really excited to be here this afternoon to do some special coverage because of the weather outside we're all experiencing and seeing. Probably having a lot of problems out there today if you were commuting to work or if you got to stay home with the kids. Some chaos and some fun out there as well. We're going to take a look this half hour to uh, across the region, really multiple different counties. We have reporters in Columbia County. We had reporters in the Poconos, of course, higher elevations, Hazleton, Mountaintop. We also have those out in Wyoming County, Tunkhannock area, and Lackawanna County as well. So we will take a peek all around the region for you before the evening newscasts come about. Let's take a peek first at some of the hot video that we've seen this afternoon. One of our photographers, Tony Ingargiola, took some really good dash cam video on his way in to work this morning here in Wilkes-Barre. It was in Luzerne County, Plains Township, the Cross Valley 309 area, and one vehicle he caught a glimpse of. It lost its tail there, hit the sign. I believe he put it back for us in a slow motion. Hopefully that driver is okay and continued on, but some pretty good video that he was able to catch safely, pre-recorded from his dash cam video, of course. No phones on the road. Let's head out to Mount Pocono. We had our reporter, Heidi Martens, joining us from Mount Pocono all morning long, and man, did that snow quickly come in for her out there. It really came down quick from about 7 a.m. through this afternoon. And you can see there are plenty of drivers on the roads, but there was also some problems that the tractor trailer there certainly making a tough turn of that road right there. Taking their time, but a little congested. We also had a reporter out in Columbia County this morning. Both of those reporters worked from 3 a.m. until early this afternoon. So we're not going to go to them live, but certainly we can check out their video that they sent back to us. Zach Caraway was at a truck stop. He was talking to truckers all morning long on their commute, some pulling over just to stay safe, which is certainly something that we all want to make sure everyone does, because those conditions certainly changed very quickly out on the road. And one of our meteorologists is going to be joining us now. We have meteorologist Matthew Howard. Matthew, you're at Montage Mountain this afternoon. What are the conditions like there?
Yes, Julie. So the conditions here, we're seeing a light snow.
All right, we
maybe even
can't hear
mixing
you.
in with a little bit of sleet. The snow has.
There you are. Nope, you're fine. Keep on going. I found you.
Yes. Yeah, so the snow has actually turned into a little bit of sleet here. It's definitely gotten lighter compared to what we've seen over the past hour or two. I actually just measured about 4.5 inches of snow here at Montage Mountain. And yes, Julie, the roadways are it's still slick around here.
Certainly, Matthew. Now, that is quite the beautiful sight. I know you were scheduled to be up there for a specific shoot today. Can you tell us a little? Can you give us a sneak peek about what you're going to be reporting on later?
Yeah, so I'm actually in Montage Mountain right now, and the ski season's actually going to be beginning very soon. So I'm going to be doing some live hits there. I'm going to talk about the snow we got today and maybe even some impacts on what it takes for skiing season. So I feel like that's going to be a very good representation, very good time of year to be talking about it.
Yeah, certainly, and that'll be part of our winter weather outlook, and we'll tell you more about that as soon as we get that together, those dates that will air. Matthew, you said it was kind of changing over there in the higher elevations. Is that something that we can all expect to see?
not everyone's going to see a change over to sleet. We're really seeing a mix of snow and a little bit of sleet. As I'm seeing off my jacket, some little small ice pellets bouncing off. So not everyone going to experience that changeover, but I think the areas, especially south and east of Scranton, could be seeing some of those changeovers, especially in our valleys. I think Montage Mountain is a little bit lower than some more higher elevation, so probably about 1,000 feet here. So especially if you're below 1,000 feet, you might see a little bit of a changeover to sleet here and there.
Right. And you said 4.5 inches just about there in the Scranton Montage Mountain area. That's pretty significant for our first significant snowfall of the year.
Oh, absolutely, Julie. 4.5 inches. In some places, I've seen reports of 5 or 6 inches already. So very significant out there right now. And since it's been into the 20s a lot of the day, that snow has been really allowing to stick on those roadways. It's not really melting. It's just sticking there. And even when it's getting treated, that snow is just relentless, especially this morning as well.
Certainly. All right, Matthew Howard reporting for us live from Montage Mountain this afternoon. Matthew, thank you so much for joining us on the 2822 Now app. We appreciate it. All right, we will be checking in with some more reporters throughout the next half hour, so stay tuned. Okay, welcome back. You're watching our special winter weather coverage this afternoon. It's just after 2 o'clock on this Tuesday, December 2nd, and we're talking all things snow and winter weather, taking a look at the road conditions just before these evening newscasts come up this afternoon. Because why wait? We'll bring it to you right now. So we're going to take a look in Lackawanna County now. We're heading out to Mount Cobb, and this is where one of our reporters is just this afternoon. That snow is really coming down at that rest stop in the Mount Cobb area. You can see the plow trucks moving along, and you can see workers trying to clear those pathways so people can get into the convenience store there. Let's check in with 2822's Connor Core this afternoon. Connor, how are the conditions out there in Lackawanna County?
Yeah, Julie, well, good afternoon. You were talking about the snow that was coming down. It's been pretty consistent since I've gotten to this rest stop here at Mount Cobb at the Onvo exit on Interstate 84. Like I said, snow's been coming down pretty consistently. As I'm talking right now, there are two PennDOT trucks that are going out of the shed right now. It looks like they're going on to Interstate 84 as of right now. The trucks full of salt. Yep, they're going to make that right onto Interstate 84 as we're talking on the air right now. But at this rest stop right now, you can see over my right shoulder these line of trucks. They've been here pretty much the entire day. I've only seen one or two trucks that are actually leaving this rest stop right now. So a lot of commotion going on right now here at this rest stop here in Mount Cobb. It's been pretty cold. Like I said, the weather's been coming down consistently. You can see just looking on the ground right now, there's about, roughly 3 or 4 inches here in the higher elevations, like we saw with Matthew as well at the Montage Mountain.
Connor, how would you describe the snow? Is it light, fluffy, wet?
Well, I'll be honest with you, the snow's kind of pelting me in my face right now, so I would say it's definitely not soft, that's for sure. But throughout this entire time when I've been seeing cars driving in, there have been a little fishtail sliding out left and right every so often. But for the most part, drivers have been able to handle the snow here in this area. As I was coming into this rest stop earlier today, there was not much roads that were plowed, honestly, but for the most part it seems to be pretty soft with that mix that we've kind of been seeing throughout the newscast throughout the day. It looks like it's going to be heading that with the rain that's potentially coming in or later this afternoon into the evening times.
Yeah, certainly. And I know you've been out there in the Mount Cobb area, but you also travel from Wayne County, correct? How are your travels in this morning to work to Scranton?
Yeah, this morning for coming over from Wayne County over into Lackawanna County on the Casey Highway when I came in this morning, roughly about anywhere between 8:30 and 9:15. The roads that I came in on had very little attention drawn to them. There wasn't many snow plows that were going by. I didn't see a single one until I got to the Casey Highway coming in through Lackawanna County. Even then, the roads, there's dusting to about 1/4 of an inch, I would say, more or less. On the roads of the Casey Highway. So you can only think that PennDOT has been on the roads throughout the remainder of the day. And I see a truck coming in right here just off of Interstate 84 here in Mount Cobb. But the conditions when I was driving in today, I was able to, even a couple of times when I was driving in the roads of Wayne County, where even I was fishtailing a little bit, going roughly 30, 35 miles an hour, trying not to exceed the speed limits on the roads that I was driving. But safe to say, obviously, I made it to work safe, and obviously made it to this rest stop here in Mount Cobb here pretty safely as well.
Yeah, and staying put there. A lot of foot traffic, a lot of cars traveling in and around that area, or maybe coming off of the interstate right there.
Yeah, definitely. So it's funny, I was talking to a family earlier today, and they were coming from Milford. They had Thanksgiving. They were hunting with hunting season just starting here this past Saturday. They were trying to make their way back down to the Philly, which is where they live now. Now, they're originally from Moscow, and they said they have family in Elmhurst, that with the weather conditions and the road conditions, that they're actually just going to kind of show up to their friend's house at Elmhurst and kind of just see if they can spend the night there, so that way they can make it to their destination safely. Philadelphia is roughly 2.5 hours away from here, so making sure they can make it their destination safely. So definitely a lot of cars that have been pulling in. Right now there's 2 cars who are getting gas currently, and another couple others that are also going into Onvo, into the Burger King here in Mount Cobb. But for the most part, it's just been drivers and trucks that have been coming in to this rest stop here along Interstate 84.
That's a good example of just camping out and staying safe when the road conditions just get too tough. All right, Connor, reporting live in Mount Cobb, Lackawanna County, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. Now let's head on over to another part of Lackawanna County. We're going to take a look at some of the video and some of the problems that drivers and specifically tractor trailers have been seeing. This tractor trailer, this is Bernie Avenue, could not make it up that hill coming off Interstate 81. Certainly having a tough time there. Police in the area helping block off the roadways and get that tractor trailer up the hill. Let's check in now with our reporter, Colby Hughes, who's joining us live from that area we just took a peek at. Colby, how are the conditions where you are?
Well, Julie, it's definitely still raining. I think it's easing up a little bit now. The roads are mainly just wet, and I'm here at that hill that you guys just saw where those trucks were not able to get up the hill just about 40 minutes ago. But the roads are just wet now here, and they're able to come up and down the hill. Everybody's going pretty slow still, but traffic is moving. We don't have any tractor trailers stopped on the hill here. It's still snowing, but just cold mainly.
Okay, so you're already seeing that changeover that Matthew was talking about earlier on, huh?
Yeah, exactly. And we've got more cars on the road now, so I think that that's helping with the tires, making the slush on the road just turn into that wet, and now it's drying up. But yeah, I mean, we got more people out here now. It's brighter out, that definitely helps, and people are going a little bit faster than they were earlier today. I know I was certainly driving way under the speed limit with my flashers on, but a lot of people are going normal speed now, just a little bit slower than usual.
Yeah, and tell us, you've been all out all around Lackawanna County with a couple of different problems on the roadways. I know Davis Street, most of them all surrounding the interstate areas and those exit ramps.
Yeah, so the areas that have been, and I've been over in McDade Park in Scranton, and I've also been over to Davis Street in Scranton, where, you know, the ramp there for the highway is very, very covered in snow, and cars were going very slow to get onto 81 there. No crashes, thank goodness, at that time, but, you know, cars were just going very, very, very slow to get onto the highway, and there weren't many cars on the highway.
You mentioned McDade Park. Do we have kids out sledding this afternoon?
Well, I stopped by earlier this morning. I went there first. There was nobody there. I think I was actually the only car that was traveling through the park.
Certainly, Colby. I'm sure the kids are just waiting and itching to get out, but maybe taking it slow until the snow and rain hold off this evening. We have Colby Hughes reporting live for us in Moosic this afternoon. Thanks, Colby. And we'll be right back. And welcome back to the 2822 Now studio here in Wilkes-Barre. And we're taking a look all across the region. And next up, our stop will be Tunkhannock. That's where we're going to find 2822's Joe Mason. Joe, what are the conditions like out in Wyoming County?
Well, Julie, before I get into that, I must say this. These are the days you wish you were a kid again. Home from school with the hot chocolate, the warm blanket, all that good stuff. But unfortunately for many of us, those days are long in the rear view. Let me tell you about the travel and road conditions from my point of view. Took me around 2 hours to get out here from Wilkes-Barre. Usually takes around 45 minutes, so much longer travel times than I would have expected. Some of the worst roads I've ever seen, and I've been traveling quite a bit in the Northeast for these past few years, and these are some rough ones. These are roads you can easily slip and slide, and it feels like a water park out here with how much slipping and sliding that's been going on out here. But with that comes slower traffic, and understandably so, because these roads are so bad. So plan accordingly, plan ahead, maybe an hour or two ahead of when you would normally get on these roads. But that's what we have going on here in Tunkhannock.
No, Joe, I agree with you. It's one of those days where you wish you could have just stayed home with the pup and curled up with some hot chocolate, maybe catch a Christmas film or two. Let me ask you a couple questions. You say 2 hours to get back through the back mountain and up Tunkhannock. These are all back roads that you're driving on. So, yeah, some of those are the last to be plowed.
Yeah, unfortunately, and with that, you have the slower driving as expected, because who wants to slip and slide all across and potentially hurt yourself and others? I mean, I slipped and slid probably around 3 or 4 times out here. Some really dangerous times. My car kind of spun around and stuff, so really dangerous commute. So understandably so, why some of these commuters are taking it slow.
Yeah, certainly. Could you estimate for us about how much snow you're seeing? I know some have been reporting some 4 inches. I don't know. We're checking in with you for the first time, so we'd like to know what Wyoming County's seeing.
Well, I think Josh, Logan, and all of our other meteorologists got it right. We're looking at that 4 to 6 range that we've been hearing for the past few days. Certainly no shortage of snow, and with that, it's not, that light powdery snow that some of us enjoy. It's more of that snowball snow where you could pack it in and throw some snowballs around, but unfortunately not great for driving. It's that slushy stuff that makes your car tires kind of spin around, and not the greatest for driving whatsoever.
Certainly. Well, Joe, we look forward to your reports coming up on later editions of 2822 News at 4, 5, and 6 this evening. Reporting in Tunkhannock for us. We appreciate it. Stay safe. All right, time to turn back to one of our meteorologists, Matthew Howard. He is going to be joining us once again from Montage Mountain, a place that you really want to be at on a day like this. And he's previewing the ski season coming up. And boy, oh boy, am I sure that they are cranking out the snow up there. Matthew, just checking back in.
Yes, so not quite turning those snow machines on until tonight. The crews at Montage are very excited for the upcoming ski season and are looking forward to opening very soon.
Yeah. Give us some insight on some of the ins and outs that you're going to be talking about in our winter weather outlook. What did you learn today?
So I'm going to be talking about snowmaking, what temperature, what wind, humidity, what it takes for that snowmaking process, and also talk about the mechanics behind that snowmaking gun. So I'm going to be talking about that, and also as well as maybe what you think of how long does it take an inch of snow to be made by one of these. I'll have all of that in your winter weather outlook. So
yeah,
it's going to be very exciting stuff.
Looking forward to that. For those who are just joining in now, Matthew, and didn't see your report with us earlier on in this half hour, let us know how much snow you're seeing up there on Montage Mountain and talk about the changeover that's happening.
Yes, Julie. So we are actually just measured about 4.5 inches of snow. It was coming down very heavy, especially between 9 a.m. and 1 p.m. Now it's laying up a little bit. It's a mix of snow and sleet. So if I look at my jacket a little bit, you can see a little bit of light ice pellets bouncing off my jacket. So still impacts in the way of slick roads, but The good news is at least the heaviest of the snow has concluded. So just keeping that in mind, the roadways out here are still slick. It took me about almost 3 times the amount it would take me to get from about Carbondale to Scranton. So just keep that in mind if you're traveling out this afternoon.
Yes, you are from the area. Matthew, do you like this weather? We know you like the weather. You're a meteorologist, but do you like this kind of weather?
I do like this kind of weather, actually. I don't like driving in the snow as much, but as kind of what Joe said, being a kid and enjoying a snow day, just being in the house is very pretty to watch. It's very pretty to just see all the flakes falling. So I always look forward to winter and snow every single year.
Yeah, and between you and me, I think you got the best gig out of it all today, staying off the roads and up there on the mountain, enjoying the beautiful view behind you.
Oh, absolutely, Julie. And you can see right behind me, you can see the ski lifts slowly moving up a little bit, and they're really starting to get ready for that ski season to be coming to an open.
Yeah, and I believe that's happening in just a couple weeks, or are they going to try and open this weekend? What are they saying?
They are not sure exactly when they're going to open yet, but from what it seems like the conversations are, they could be opening within the next week, possibly, depending on temperatures and how cool it gets at night.
Certainly, and I know it's going to get a lot colder towards the end of the week, and we'll be continuing with those updates for you on later editions of our newscast. Matthew, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Julie. I really appreciate it.
All right, let's take one last look at some of the video all across the region. We're going to go back to a fishtail of sorts that was happening in Luzerne County on the Cross Valley. This is in Plains Township. And our photojournalist, Tony Ingargiola, took this from his dash cam video. No cell phones were in hand. And that poor vehicle just, a little too slick in the rear. And we just got to take it a little slower today. We were also out in the Poconos this morning. Our reporter Heidi Martens was taking a look all around the region. And that snow was really coming down. I mean, the visibility there, very, very difficult. Now, she was seeing some problems that the trucks were having navigating this 5-point intersection on Route 940, 611, and they were having some problems there, a rough go at it, and some of them, deciding to pull over instead. Let's head on over to Columbia County. Mifflin Township is where Zach Paraway was this morning, and he pulled over at a truck stop and was talking to a lot of truckers this morning and throughout the day today. A lot of them just taking their time, pulling over, and just not chancing it today. Well, we want to thank you for tuning in to our special weather report today from the 2822 Now studio here in Wilkes-Barre. We're getting a real go and real hang of this podcast thing, and we're testing out what we can do with the reporters in the field, so we really appreciate you tuning in and checking it out with us, giving you a sneak.
I'm wearing my sequins. We're back on the red carpet. We are in for a great episode today. I have a great guest. She's a Scranton native, multi-talented blogger, founder, speaker, podcaster, and female empowerment advocate. And she's doing big things right here in our area. Let's meet her. Hi, Kylie.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm so excited. We have so much to talk about. We were talking off camera before about, country music, which nobody in the newsroom wants to talk to me about because nobody else likes it. And Dancing with the Stars. We're going to talk about all of that in a little bit. But first, I want to hear about Kylie. I want to hear about your podcast and all of the fun things that you are doing. So tell me about yourself.
Oh, I can just go on about this. Oh my gosh, there's so many. But, I'm Kylie, as you probably know. I am 19 years old, a freshman in college at Penn State, studying journalism and so many other things I can go on a tangent about, and maybe too much degrees. But I am been podcasting for about 4 years, since April 2021. Wow. So probably longer than probably most people have done, to be honest with you. And I am the founder of Roots of Hope, and it's an organization where I tend to give back, send letters to psych wards to kind of uplift people who are, dealing with a rough time and maybe dealing with mental illness and all of that. So that's kind of trying to lift up and give books to different places and trying to uplift the community. So that's kind of a little bit about that. But to go back to Talk of Fame, I started back in April of 2021. So I interview a million guests, like actors, politicians, directors, authors, basically anything you could, ask about or know. Everything's on the podcast. And literally we have a bunch of conversations like mental health, women empowerment, acting, women's representation, literally any topic you want, we basically have. So that's kind of, a little deep dive into that.
And all of that stuff, like hearing you just light up about it kind of makes me sit back and light up about On the Red Carpet, because I love what I do. And I love getting to speak with people like you doing great things in the community. So kind of walk me through. I have to ask first though, do you have a favorite guest you've had on?
Oh, gosh, there's so many. I could probably get millions.
Give me like your top two, female, male.
So female, well, I'm like trying to look for guests.
I put her on the spot here.
Okay, I am on the spot, I admit. But if I had to choose a female guest, it would probably be Gabrielle Stone. She is the daughter of, I forget her name, but she was the mother in E.T.
Oh, wow.
And, the person that was the mom in E.T. And she literally came out with a book. She's I would say well-known actress. She is literally amazing. She wrote a book maybe 2 or 3 years ago that I just read about going through a divorce and then going to travel around the world and finding out who she is. And then her meeting her husband, now has a baby who is adorable. And she kind of discusses what inspired her to do that, how she felt, what kind of her perspective was. So it was really nice to kind of, hear from her and also learn about her mother, too, who was an ET. I never met her personally, but it was really nice to learn more
Never
about
say
her.
never.
I know. I'm like, maybe I can meet her one day, but, never say never. But for guy, I would have to say Elias Harger from Fuller House.
Wow.
He plays DJ's son, Max. And as many of you know, if you're family or friends, Full House has been my favorite show since I was a baby, ever since I was born.
Oh.
So I used to watch it every single day growing up. And then once Fuller House came out a couple years ago, I think 2016, I believe. I could be wrong, but I think it was 2016. I did the same thing with Fuller House every single day.
So here's my question, because I'm one of those people, it's a reboot, it probably won't be good. Is the reboot of Full House worth the watch?
I mean, it's worth the watch. I think the original Full House is better. I think that's really better. Okay. But I think Full House is better, than I thought it was.